What up, UFC T-Dot breakdowns? Like and subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We're gonna break down UFC Fight Night 205, Lemos versus Andrade. Um, it's a matchup against soft-spoken Brazilian woman who hits like a rock and is not to be messed with against a soft-spoken Brazilian woman who hits like a rock and is not to be messed with. It's definitely a battle of styles and fighting ability because neither one of them has much of a personality. Like Andrade has a little bit of a person. She's like, I'm the most friendly Terminator, and Lemos is like, I am a perfectly average Terminator. All right. I'm just saying, man. Watch like if you watch like the little hype videos for them, they're both like when they show Lemos, she's just like, I'm gonna go in there and win, and then when they show Andrade, she's like, I'm gonna go in there and win. All right. So first up, we had Dean Barry. There was a bunch of canceled fights on this card too. We'll talk about those canceled cards first. So you had Alexander Romanov versus Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman up and coming. Alexander Romanov is 15-0, so excuse me. What the fuck, yawns? That'd probably be a good match. You had Sue Mudariji. I'm not familiar with him, but he was supposed to be fighting Manel Camp. Manel Camp is good. And then we had Stevie Garcia versus Damir Hadzovic. I'm not really familiar with either one of those guys. They're fighting at lightweight. But yeah, those three fights were all canceled off this card. I think two were replaced, and one was just because it was like last second. I think that Chase Sherman one. So to start the card off, we had Dean Barry versus Mike Jackson. Mike Jackson's the guy that fought, what's his name, Mickey Gall? I think he fought, or did he fight CM Punk? I don't know. He's like, he was a joke. Now I guess he's trying to really be a UFC fighter. I mean, in the fight, in the beginning, he was doing this shoulder roll thing that was being very effective, but like, at some point, Barry just figured it out. And Barry was winning, but he was doing a lot of like, I don't know. It's probably Mike Jackson's fault because he was like not moving like a fighter. But at the end and after the fight, it ended in a disqualification for Mike Jackson. But it's funny because Dean Barry is complaining afterwards. Oh, this guy took the easy way out, and it's like, hey man, listen, you did a spinning back kick to his balls. and Mike Jackson was yelling, oh my fucking god, spinning kick to the dick. This motherfucker right here in the fucking ball sack. He was yelling it, and like the mics were picking up. DC was like, "Can we turn off the cameras?" But no. But the crazy thing is, like Dean Barry is complaining. He had one of the worst eye pokes I've ever seen. He just dug both of these fingers into Mike Jackson's eye socket and then just used that to just move his head back. And then afterwards, he was like, "Oh, come on, what's he quitting for?" All right. So yeah, Mike Jackson wins by disqualification. Yeah, Marcin Practicino versus Philip Lance. Oh. This is a pretty good fight. I feel like they were pretty evenly matched, but like Lens was just a little bit better everywhere. So, in the first round, there was some pretty good, heavy, crazy exchanges. I had that one kind of going even, but like I said, Lens was just kind of better everywhere. When they get down on the ground or into the clinch, it seemed like he was the one in control in the dominant position every time, and they had some crazy exchanges, but it just didn't matter once Lance got his hands on Marchand. Which didn't really have no answer for that. Lance won by unanimous decision. We had Preston Parsons versus Evan Elder. So Preston Parsons, got Evan. So Evan Elder's kind of highly touted, and I guess he's a really good fighter. But he needs to work on his ground game a bit. The pressing part. Also, I guess he was fighting upper class because it was short notice. This is one of the replacement fights. So Preston Parson was just a bigger, stronger, more physical guy the whole fight. And anytime they got into the grapple or on the ground, it was pretty clear that the round one ended in a tight ass arm triangle. Like it wasn't even like he was gonna get out of it. It was tight. The hell was that in my eye? I got it. All right. Second round was like same deal. Super tight arm triangle. That elder guy doesn't quit, man. He was doing so much stuff, like in an attempt to like be competitive in this fight. Just Preston always had to answer. In the third round, Elder did much better. He was actually getting some really good work done on the feet. Jans. What's crazy is he was doing good on the feet. Then he went for the takedown. Preston swept him, had control for the rest of the fight. Preston won by unanimous decision. Next, we got Ariki Lang. There we go. Ariki Lang versus Cameron Else. So Ariki Lang is another one of these Mongolian fighters fighting out of China specifically. I said it every time. I say it because they don't say he's fighting out of China. They say he's fighting out of Mongolia. Is Mongolia just part of China? Do I need to do some research? I'll do it right now. You think I want to do research? Yeah, okay. It's not part of China. Anyway, he's another Mongolian fighter fighting out of China. And just like his buddy from last week, he likes to remove people's consciousness from their brains by punching them. He didn't finish this guy to the head. He finished him to the body, man. First of all, they're both throwing bombs. They're both hitting hard, but like he threw like this left body shot that was like think, and when he threw it, like he noticed Else had a reaction, so then he just like threw it again, but like the way he was throwing it, man, it was like a whole. He hit him with that second body shot. It was over, and then I mean, there was some ground and pound, but it was over. And DC called it on the first body punch. Like when he landed at first, DC was like, "Oh, he's hurt from that body punch," and he threw another one. He was like, "I knew it." But yeah, that guy, he had who the other Mongolian guy from last week? I can't think of his name. Excuse me, I can't think of his name right now. But the other Mongolian fighter from last week was in his corner, along with Eddie Cha, I believe. It was pretty interesting. So during his post-fight interview, like this dude didn't care what DC had to say. DC asking questions, and he's just like, yeah. And then so DC starts to ask another question, and he literally cuts DC off, snatches the mic. I mean, he doesn't take it out of his hand, but he snatches the mic away from DC's hand. And he's like, I want to thank my corner, and I want to thank, the guys that are with me, blah, blah, blah. And then DC got the mic back and gave him some final words, and he reached for that mic again, man. DC was like, nope, you get one. I just thought that shit was hilarious. Next up, we had Tyson Pedro versus Ike Villanueva. Man. So Tyson hit Ike with one big shot. I don't even remember what the big shot was. I just know that when he hit him with the big shot, Ike was like kind of on the defensive after that. And then, I mean, after like the second leg kick, I want to say Ike was like, he was doing like the pee-pee dance because he was trying to check every kick at that point. He was so afraid of the kick. And then literally, leg kick took him down. Couldn't get back up. Got knocked out on the ground because of going down from a leg kick. It's crazy how Ike Villanueva cannot sustain leg kicks. Like, dude, you got to retire. Because if you can't take any leg kicks, you're not going to make it. You need to either go do some Muay Thai training, work on your checks, or fucking retire, bro. And I don't mean like retire like you're not a good fighter. I like Ike Villanueva. I just mean like you got to be able to take leg kicks in this game, because anyone looks at film of you, they're just going to go start kicking trees to get ready for your fight. Just saying. Tyson Pedro won by TKO first round. In case that wasn't clear, all these other fights that stopped without a decision were ended in the first round. Um, Next up, we had Dwight Grant versus Sergey Kendovsko. Kendovsko? Kendovsko. Yeah, Kendovsko. All right. They both had good knockdowns. They both had good exchanges. They were really slugging it out for a few minutes, like 2 or 3 maybe. Sergey got the win by TKO. Um, that fight didn't end the first round, did it? Where's the rest of my notes on this fight? Okay, so it was right as the second round started that Sergey got the TKO. I mean, it was a good fight, good exchanges. They both were hitting each other really fucking hard. Um, so starting the main card now, we've got Jordan. Is that right? Yeah, Jordan Wright versus Marc-Andre Barriot. Marc-Andre Barriot. So Jordan Wright went for a takedown and he caught him in the guillotine. And I mean, he kind of DDT'd him, Diamond Dallas Page style. Bow! From the guillotine. Just never let it go. DDT'd him, spun right over in the mount. Was all she wrote. Won by submission in the first round. Next up, you had Lando Venata versus Charles Jourdain. So Charles Jourdain and Lando Venata are two fighters that I really enjoy. They're both top level guys. Like they're not quite belt guys, but they're top level dudes. They're both guys that can give anyone a hard time. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm getting a phone call because I'm recording. No one will call me for the rest of the day. The moment I finish this, that will be the last phone call. All right. Freaking Charles Jourdain, man. So he threw this straight left hand, kind of sat Venata down, ended up getting him into a one-arm guillotine, right? And I mean, like, he adds the second hand at the end, but he doesn't add the second hand like, he adds the second hand to just be like, got it tight. One-hand guillotine is crazy. I mean, submitted him in the first round with a one-arm guillotine. And Lando Venata is no slouch. Next up, we have Macy Barber versus Montana De La Rosa. Macy Barber, I don't know if it's something new or if I'm just tripping, but I think she was in the best shape I've ever seen her in. She was just in immaculate shape. It didn't look like there was a shred of fat on her. Like, she just was in really good shape. And I think her performance was reflected of the conditioning, right? She just looked better than I've ever seen her. Physically, I mean, I'm not even talking about the fight. I'm just talking about her physique looked better than it's ever looked. And then in the fight, she performed very well against a tough opponent. It was a good fight, man. It was throwing elbows. Macy Barber was winning the grapples for the most part, following the directions. What's crazy is when they would get into the grapples, they didn't really seem like one was better than the other one. But the big difference was Montana De La Rosa was like grappling for position, and Macy was like grappling for elbows in your face, bitch. Second round, I feel like it could have went either way. It was close, but Macy probably pulled that one out too. Third round was more of the same stuff. They were grappling, but Macy was also striking in that grappling. So she was winning those exchanges, and she had more control time anyway. And she was throwing elbows, knees, and Macy won unanimous decision. That's how I saw it. I mean, like I said, I think she was in the best shape I've ever seen her in, and she fought very well. All right, next up we had Clay Guido versus Claudio Puelles. I'm saying his name wrong. I apologize, Claudio. Yeah, man. It was a hard to watch fight because Claudio only wants to destroy joints, and Clay Guido don't like to tap out. So what happens is in the beginning I have to like watch between my eyes a little bit because I'm afraid because they're about to break Clay Guido's arm and he's not gonna snap. He gonna let it snap. He not gonna tap. He gonna let it snap, right? But he managed to spin and get out of that shit right into a knee bar. And when I tell you that I felt both them submissions, I felt them. Like when he was twisting the arm, I was like, oh my God, Clay just tapped. And I'm like, oh, I can't believe he got on my knee. I felt them. I felt both them shits. Anyway, so Claudio wins by submission by knee bar. I guess he's got more than one knee bar and like no one has knee bars or something like that. More than one in the UFC. It's just crazy. I still kind of feel that knee bar a little bit. All right, and then for your main event, we had Amanda Lemos versus Jessica Andrade. You know, I said that they were like the same person in the beginning, and that's not true. Andrade, so even though she is up like the fun Terminator, like she's boring and a little plain as far as personality goes, when she is actually speaking, I find her voice to be very melodic. It's like music to my ears. I like to hear her talk, but she ain't talking about nothing. Look at her. I don't know. I'm kidding about that, but I just mean like neither one of these fighters is like it, it's a main event fight. You have number 10 versus Andrade, who I guess is moving to a different weight class again. I don't know about this fight. It seems like everyone else in that division should be fighting Jessica Andrade or even fighting Amanda Lemos. But whatever. I don't make fights in the UFC. And turns out it didn't disappoint. Jessica Andrade got a standing arm triangle. When I say she just was like, gotcha. I like Jessica Andrade. I actually like Amanda Lemos too, so I was kind of like in between on this fight. I really liked them both. But, you know, I'm glad Jessica won because, to be honest with you, in my opinion, she has the best chance out of the two to become champion of any division that she's in. She's already been a champion, so. But yeah, I think that's about it. This shit has officially been broke down. Thank you for listening. If you're still here, I love you. I do. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good shit. I'll catch y'all on the next one.